Okay. Yay. So welcome to this fabulous get together. And I have such a list of things that I'm like, I've been taking notes, reading your responses to that little questionnaire. And I promise you, if you did not fill out that questionnaire, somebody filled it out for you, because we all have the same stuff. We all have the same problems. And that's one of the things I love about coaching is like, I've been doing this for, over 40 years now. So crazy. I'm still alive, and I have accomplished all of my goals that I set out. Every year I make lists. Every year I'm big on lists. I'm big on journaling. So if you don't have a notebook with you, you can grab one now, or just a piece of paper, something to write on. It's a very useful tool. So it's not just something for like, woo woo or something. I just want to scribble my thoughts. No, this is a tool. And everything I've ever written down and made a point of writing down has actually come true for me. So be careful what you wish for. When you write it down, it's very powerful. It gets it into your brain at a deeper level. And your brain is like a computer, you have to program it. So writing helps to program your brain for what you want rather than what you don't want. And that's going to be a big topic for us right off the bat. Because what I'm seeing, and I understand, like I've gone through it, trust me. I have been like, I've had the highs where I've come on stage and in a big show, or I'm a series regular and, my agent loves me and all of those. I've had all those moments. I've also had all of the moments of misery. Frankly, I've had the moments of working in a restaurant and hating my life and wondering if I was crazy to be an actor. What have I done? What have I committed myself to? I must be out of my mind. What if I suck? Sometimes I do suck. Sometimes I'm just not that good, and it's okay. I had a friend once who was actually a big, big actor call me at a moment where I was like about to go see myself in a little film that I had done. And I was terrified that I was going to be terrible. And I said to him, like, well, what if I suck? What if I'm terrible? And he goes, well, take it like a man. And I thought, yeah, so what? So what if I suck? Nobody's going to die. It's okay. It's okay, because you can always get better. So I've had all those same fears too. I've had all the, what if the agent doesn't like me? What about the competition? Those other actors are so much better than me. All of those thoughts. Okay. Had them all, been there, done that. I've spent lots of time being depressed and uninspired and scared, frankly. I hope you all are not as scared as I was, because let me tell you, I was so scared. I did some of the dumbest things. Talk about a bad actor. I was one of the worst actors. My first audition, I'm going to share this with you. I'm not going to go into too many war stories because it's about you, not me. But I just tell you, my first audition, one of my first ones, I did it like this. This is the script. I auditioned like this. And the producer actually called me and said, I want you to see your audition. I was like, oops. So I've started I was very, very, very bad at the beginning and very, very scared and very depressed. I was medicating myself with alcohol. I couldn't show up for meetings. I was just in a bad space. So I just want you to know that, because no matter how bad off you may think you are, and maybe you don't, and I hope you don't, but I can tell you I've been there. And so when I'm talking to you, I'm not coming from a place where everything was easy for me. It wasn't easy at all. I had to like struggle not struggle, but there were times when I was struggling, but I had to work for every inch that I got, and one of the things I learned is that you don't have to do it alone. Now, I did it alone for a long time before I figured that out, is that you can have help. You can have a coach. If you were going to go to the Olympics, and let's face it, when you book a series regular, you're in the acting Olympics. Okay. You're making anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 a week just to start. That's a lot of money. I don't even think they get paid that much in the Olympics unless they win, and then they get a serial, thing. Somebody gets someone sponsors them. You don't really get paid for being in the Olympics unless you get some sponsors. As an actor, you can make a lot of money. Okay. I've made six figures off of one day of work many times in my career. So this is the flip side to being miserable, working in a restaurant and want to drink myself to death. So I like to stay focused on that side rather than the struggle side. So, because it is possible, and that's what you're going for. If you're here on the first day of the year, I'm pretty sure that's what you want. You want to make the money. You want to make a living as an actor. You want to like have the career of your dreams. You want to achieve all this stuff, all this, not because it's like you have to, you're driven, but it's because it's fun. It's super fun. And it's awesome to make money doing what you love to do. It is the best feeling ever to get that big fat check for a job that you had fun doing. I mean, to me, there's no better job than being an actor, but that's me. I'm obsessed. So being an acting coach is pretty awesome too, because I get to share how I got there. So I'm going to go over some of the questions that you guys had, because I want to jump right into it. So one of the main things that I wanted to start with, that I'm seeing like a lot of questions around this particular aspect of the world, of the career, of the business, is being challenged around worrying about competition, agents, whether they're going to like me, are they going to like me? Am I good enough? But let's focus on like the outside things, like the competition or can I get an agent or things like that. Now, the outside world is something we have zero control over, in case you haven't noticed in the last little while. We have no control over all that stuff that goes on out there. And I find the more I focus on the outside world, the things I can't control, the more upset I get, the more fearful I am, the more confused I am, because I have no idea how to like make that casting director like me. I don't know how to do that. So what I've learned, and also things like the news, a lot of social media, like I really have to back off of that stuff, because I don't have any control over that, what goes on in the world, what goes on in the news, and it doesn't make me feel good. So those two things, you want to watch that. Okay. And if you're taking notes right now and you've got your journal out, I want you to just quickly write down what are the things in your life, just pick the top ones that you don't have any control over, that don't make you feel good. Okay. So like the news, that's my favorite, right? Can't control it, makes me feel like crap. So I just take that one out of my life because it doesn't help me. Your most important thing that you have as an actor is your mind, your energy. That's it. That's the most important thing. So I'm going to go there first, because if that's not correct, if that's not in alignment, nothing you do is going to make your career work for you. Well, nothing you want to do is going to make your career work for you. Okay. So the alignment, your feeling good is the most important thing. Controlling your mind is the most important thing. Also the most important thing, same thing. So two halves of the same thing. Controlling your mind and choosing things that make you feel good. I can't stress this enough, because if you don't have that baseline, it's going to be very hard to do anything else. And as an actor, okay, your main tool, is your mind. As an actor, when you're acting, you have to be able to focus your mind on the thoughts that you choose. So if you're going into audition for something and your mind is thinking too much about the competition, or, oh, there's that actor that I always go up against who always books a job. And, what if they hate me? And what if I'm not this enough or that enough or good enough or smart enough? If you're focused there, you're not focusing on your work. Your work is not to decide if you're good enough. Your work is to focus 100% of your mind on the circumstances of your character. That's it. Forget all that stuff. It's really hard to think of both things at once. So if you can train your mind to focus only on what you choose to focus on, that is your main key to success right there. And you can just write that down and take it to the bank. So that sounds really simple, and it is simple. It takes practice. It takes practice, and it's not always easy. We have habits of struggling. I've had habits of struggling for years. I made myself struggle so much, and it was for no reason. It was a habit for me. I didn't feel like I was working unless I was suffering and struggling. So if you have that mental habit of suffer or struggle, just sort of have a look at it, watch it, and watch when you do it, and question, like, am I doing this to myself, or is this real? Well, maybe don't ask yourself, because yourself will probably tell you it's real. Just ask me, is this real, or am I? And that's kind of what you've done. And I can tell you that 90% of your problems are not real. They are just your mindset. It's what you think about. Yep. So things you can't control, just take that off the list of things that you're going to think about all day. Okay. Things you can control. So how do you know the difference? There's a little prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's a great prayer. It got me through my first few years of not drinking. And I can tell you that I worried a lot about things I couldn't control. When I got my mind off of those things and got onto the things I can control, that's when I got busy. That's when I started working. All the things I can't control, my emotions even. I can't always control my emotions. You know, sometimes my emotions just have a mind of their own. What can I control? What I can control is where I focus, where I spend my time focusing, what I spend my time doing. So thinking and doing. So as an actor, people think it's about emotional states. It's not. It's about thinking and doing. The audience is the one that's going to have an emotional reaction. If you have an emotional experience while you're acting, that's awesome. But if you get caught up in that, it becomes self-indulgent and the audience doesn't like it. The audience is like, you know, tell me the story. Try to feel for me. And if you don't believe me, watch Yellowstone and you'll see two characters. Anyone watching that show? Such a good show. There's two characters in that show. One is constantly feeling sad and the other one is constantly fighting for what she wants. And it's amazing watching these two actresses because I'm like, why is this one so annoying? And why is this one so much fun to watch? Because she's fighting. She's fighting for stuff. You know, she's having her hard times, but she keeps on fighting. And the other one's just like, poor me, sad, sad, sad. If I was a coach on that show, I would tell that actress to stop being sad and start getting busy fighting for what she wants. Anyway, sorry, little sideline there. It's just, I noticed these things. So what you can control is what you focus on. So the first thing you want to focus on is what you want. What do you want to create? What kind of a career do you want to have? You didn't come here to be an actor, to show up for this little coaching session on the first day of the year because you don't have big dreams. You have big dreams. I know you do. And you're creative and you're talented. You all are. That's why you're here. So what do you want? So think about what you want. And here's the little tricky thing. When you're creating something, you want to create with joy. So when you think about your career, and if you think about your career and you feel like down, like if the first, and this has happened to me, so I know, if I think about my career and I'm like, oh, that other actress is working more than me and I'm not doing enough, getting enough, whatever, enough, fill in the blank enough. So if you're having that feeling when you think about your career, you've got to change the way you think about it. So how do you do that? You've got to choose. It's like go into your little mind palace. You watch Sherlock, one of my other favorite shows. He goes into his mind palace. I think of my mind as like my workshop. So when I'm imagining what kind of a career I want to have, what I want to do next, I think of like my mind is this is my little workshop, and I'm going to go in there, I'm going to play around in there and look for things that feel good. So when I think about my career, if I think about, I don't know, whether my agent likes me or not, that doesn't really do much for me. When I think about the feeling I get when maybe say I'm on set and I'm in a trailer that I really like, and I'm about to go, they're about to call me and I'm just I look for those specific things. If you haven't had that experience yet, then you can either try to imagine what it's like or picture yourself on stage accepting an award, or just something like give yourself images and thoughts that feed you, that are exciting for you. So before any of that stuff happened for me, I used to go jogging in Central Park, and I would do the big 6-mile loop. Sometimes I was walking, but that doesn't matter. I would spend a lot of time exercising, walking, jogging in Central Park. And most of that time I would spend rehearsing my award acceptance speech, my Oscar speech. Did I win an Oscar yet? No, but I did win a little award and I did have my speech ready. And I was just as happy with that little award as I would have been if I'd won an Oscar. It's probably easier because it's less stressful. But I created the experience in advance and it was fun. I enjoyed it. It gave me something to do while I was exercising. I would just imagine myself out, in a dress and like on stage and imagine the experience of the collaborating with all those people on set and the writers and that, just all of that stuff, all the stuff that made you become an actor in the first place. You got to keep that in your mind on a daily. So when you exercise or go for a walk or whatever you do, think of it as this is your work time. This isn't just, I'm trying to get in shape, or I'm, doing something I have to do, or I'm wasting time, or I'm taking time. No, for me, it's work time. When I go for a walk, I'm in my mind palace creating my next thing in my career. I'm creating my life. So you want to look for thoughts that make you feel good and focus there. That you can control. And while you're doing that and imagining situations where you're the star or where you're having a great experience as an actor, what you're also doing is you're practicing acting. That's all acting is. You're just imagining yourself in a specific circumstance, and then responding to that. So say in your Mind Palace workshop, I'm going to take that Oscar speech thing because that's fun. I'm imagining myself, accepting my award. I imagine what I'm wearing. I start feeling the feelings that I would feel if that was happening. Now that's what you're doing as an actor. So you're using your skills as an actor in your life to create the role of a successful actor. And you're just going to do that on a daily. It's the mindset. Does that make sense? The mindset of a successful actor, you have to foster that. If you don't do that, nothing else is going to work. Things will just bounce off you. And that you can do for free every day. And there are lots of ways to get help with that. And to me, this is one of the most important things that I learned that I've never been taught in any acting class. That's why I teach it when I work with people, because this is the key to success. It's the absolute key, 100% across the board, everything you do, whether you're a business person, an actor, a tennis player, an Olympic athlete, it's the same. People who are in high-end success story kind of worlds, they hire private coaches just for this, just to get their mindset successful. So once you do that, and that's a practice, and it's something that you want to practice as much as possible every day. Once you do that, all of the other things that you have to do to be successful as an actor will fall into place more easily. You won't be struggling. You won't be like, things will just start to come to you. And it's about getting yourself feeling good. Now, if you're feeling like super crap right now, and you're like, how do I even get to that place? You have to start where you are. I highly recommend physical exercise, getting out of the house and going for a walk in a park. That is like the baseline. Like, even if you're like depressed beyond recognition, you can usually get yourself out, and getting out of the house and going for a walk in the park will start that. Your body will start feeling better. The good chemicals will start rolling through your bloodstream. And then you can start choosing those thoughts. Sometimes it starts with, when did I feel good on set? When was I having a good time as an actor? So that is the number one thing. And that's why I've kind of gone on about it, because I can't even tell you how important it is. It made the difference for me between working and not working. When I can be the best actress in the world, but if I don't do this, I just don't work. I don't work. When I start doing this and taking charge of my mind and how I focus it, that's when I work. I did this as a little experiment. I was looking back over my career, 40 years, ups, downs, ups, downs, ups, downs. And I was thinking, well, what was I doing when I was in the up? Because that's what I want to keep doing. And I realized there's a pattern, there's a formula, and that's it. When I was successful, I was doing that mindset work. That's it. I wasn't a better actor. Just talking to a girlfriend yesterday who probably one of the best actresses I have ever seen. Never got a single job. Not one. Never even got an agent. Never even had a meeting. Nothing. And I was talking to her just the other day. I haven't spoken to her in 20 years. She was so good that we were in class together, and I didn't want to go up after her because I was like, no, no thanks. She was so good. But she never worked, and I did. And the only reason is because she could not control her mind. She couldn't get past the fear of not, someone not liking her or whatever it was that she was afraid of. So it's not necessarily talent. So those of you who are worrying about being good enough, don't worry about it. It's not about that. There's lots of really bad actors out there making six figures. What they have is the mindset. That's what they have. So spend most of your time working on that. Okay, so the next thing is you want to choose goals too. And I'll tell you about that a little later on, but picking goals that make you excited about getting out of bed in the morning, super important. So think about the goals. Here's another one for you. What shows are you watching that you like? That if you look at that show, you're like, I would love to do that role. Does anybody have those? I have those. I really want to play this particular role that I see on Yellowstone. Now I'm way too old for it. I would never get it. I would never be considered for it, but it's my world. And in my world, I just want to play that role for fun. So think about a role that is not necessarily, they've already cast it. Okay. If it's on TV, you're not going to get the job anyway. So we're not looking about, I'm going to get cast as this character. You want to think about what would be super fun to play. What have you seen that's just like juicy where you're like, yes, oh my God, that actor's having so much fun. I want to be that actor. Think about that. Write them down. When you see them, just write them down like this character in this show. And I'll tell you why later. Okay. So the other thing, there's a lot of worrying about being good enough as an actor and the business. Yes, you have to have those two. Mindset, number one. Business tools, got to have those. And the main one here is you have to be able to self-tape. You've got to get your self-tape skills up to as high as they can be and keep honing those skills, because that is the whole thing now. There's no meetings right now. Who knows if it'll change, but it seems like there's maybe a few in-person things, but most things are self-tapes. So even getting an agent is really dependent on your ability to self-tape, because that's what they're going to want to see. If you already have an agent and you want to bump it up a notch, you want to get sent out for bigger stuff, self-taping is key. And they can tell within 7 seconds of watching your tape how good you are. So that is something you want to hone in on. If you're not already practicing, set up your studio and practice that. And you can use those scripts that you see on TV, those people you see on TV playing those roles. Download those scripts, download the pilot for Yellowstone, download the pilot for whatever show you want to be on. Maybe not Yellowstone. There's a lot of horses and guys fighting, but whatever that show is, get those scripts and start practicing your self-tape skills. Don't wait for the audition. Once the audition comes, you got to hit the ground running. You got like 24 hours usually, to turn that around. So you want to be practicing those self-tape skills at home in your self-tape studio, getting ready. Most of acting is getting ready for something. So this is a weird thing. When nothing's happening in your career, you can think, oh, well, nothing's really happening, so I'm just having time off now. No, you're not. There's no time off. Acting is 9 to 5 every day. So when there's nothing happening, that's you preparing, getting ready, because when it comes, it's going to come fast. There's no time to prepare when it comes. You got to be ready. So the whole thing about it's like any sport. If you're playing tennis, it's like, I love the tennis analogy because people are like, oh, duh, like tennis is hard. Like you don't just go, oh, there's a tennis tournament tomorrow. I'll try playing a little bit today and get ready. And no, you have to be playing for years. You have to be good at it by the time it comes to the tournament. So acting jobs are like a tournament. You're going to get in there and you're going to be swinging around with some big actors who know what they're doing. And if you haven't been on set a lot, where you practice and get confident is in your home studios, where I'm sitting right here. I pretty much live right here. This is my home studio. And I'm doing this a lot. I practice a lot. So that's another big thing. That will give you confidence. That will give you ability. Taping stuff and then watching it back. I know it's painful. Okay. I wouldn't look at myself for years. I get it. It's painful. But there are things you can improve. So being talented is not some gift from God. Maybe it is, but I didn't really get it. So I had to learn it. So being talented is something you can learn. You can easily learn. And when you don't know, like, what are the things I need to know, it can seem really confusing and, oh, well, I just don't have it. No, you have it. You just have to learn to use it. If you're here and you want to be an actor, you've got it. Okay. You've got what it takes. You're showing up on the first day of the year. Believe me, you've got what it takes. Now you just need to learn how to use that, how to control your mind, how to use your tools to navigate the business. Okay. The other thing, the talent. I spent years thinking I just wasn't good enough and that everybody else knew what they were doing and I didn't. And I was just faking it. And let me tell you, I got pretty far on faking it. Fake it till you make it. That was me. That was my technique. Fake it till you make it. I took a lot of classes, but it took a long time for me to understand that it's not just the emotion. That's what I thought. Oh, it's about the emotion. No, it's not. There's so much more to it. And there's so much more easier stuff. There's a lot of technical stuff. And this is where I love to focus, because once you learn the technical stuff that you need to learn to be on camera, the emotion stuff is really easy. That's really not the hard part. It's the technical stuff. It's how do you work on camera? That is a craft. Okay. It's like we're craftspeople. Like if you were making a table, you wouldn't sit there and think, oh, I'm a terrible table maker. I just don't know how to make a table. No, you would just learn how to make a table. You go, oh, when I make a table, I need 4 legs. I need this, you put it together. Like there's a technique to making something. And as an actor, it's the same thing. There's a technique to making something and it's quite simple, but there's a very specific technique to doing film and television, and that's working on camera. So working on camera is something you can learn. So if you've had that thought of like, oh, I'm just not that good. Yes, you are. You're fine. You just have to learn a little camera technique. And once you learn that technique, it's going to be so much easier to just relax and play, which is what acting really, feels like when it's going well, right? Okay, so there's doubt. A lot of people talking about doubt. Your self-doubt. Self-doubt is like just a big number we do on ourselves for nothing. I've done it. I wish I had all the time back in my life that I spent doubting myself and feeling bad about myself. I wish I did, because I would have a whole other lifetime waiting for me. Take it from me. It's an absolute waste of time. Nothing ever comes from it. It's just beating yourself up for no reason. So this is the thing that stops actors from succeeding and stops actors from even having a career. A lot of people just quit because they can't take the self-doubt. And I know it sounds like, okay, it's really easy for you to say because you've already gone. Yeah, it is. But that's why I'm telling you, don't waste your time. There's nothing there for you. You're digging a hole in a place where there's nothing. You're just digging a hole and there's nothing at the bottom of it. So you want to, again, take your mind off of the self-doubt. There's no nobility in feeling crappy. There's no points for thinking bad things about yourself. There's absolutely nothing in it for you. So just stop doing it. It's that simple. Just stop doing it. So when you find yourself doubting yourself and thinking bad things about yourself, just go, oh yeah, there, I'm doing that thing again, and do something else. So have a list. This is what I had to do for myself. Have a list of things that you can think about. I had to write it down. Because when I started doing this process that I'm showing you a little taste of, when I started doing this process, I was so busy beating myself up that I couldn't even remember what was fun. It was like, what do I like? What makes me feel good? I don't know. But when you have a self-doubt feeling, you've got to distract your mind. Your mind's like a toddler. You just take your mind and just point it in another direction, like a toddler. Go, no, we're not doing that right now. We're going to go play in the sandbox instead. But you want to have those sandboxes ready for you. Okay. So here's a little list of my sandboxes. So when I'm feeling crappy, music, have a playlist ready. Have a playlist. Have some sort of physical activity that you like to do that's easy, that you can easily do, not something you have to schedule in advance and just have something quick and easy that you can do that gets your blood going. Okay. Music and dance are super easy. No one's watching. put some music on that makes you feel like dancing. That's my easy go-to, get me out of depression instantly kind of thing. But physical activity, something to read. So I am really big on books, self-helpy kind of books, the good ones. I have a whole list that help me. Right now I have David Hawkins, The Language of Letting Go, an audiobook, and I listen to that at night because my temptation at night is to go and check the headlines, check the news, check all the drama that's going on that I have no control over. And then I don't sleep well and it's a waste of time. And I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but let me tell you, don't check on the world before you go to bed. The world is just let the world do its thing. So it's like putting that positive stuff in your mind. Audiobooks are great. You can just go to YouTube and put things on in YouTube, like Joe Dispenza or people like that, people who are professionals at this, professionals at how to train your mind to think in the way you want it to think, i.e. successfully. So that is a lot of what I do all day. I can tell you it is a full-time job, but it is a worthy full-time job. If you have any kind of spiritual practice, that is also the most important thing. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have a career, 100%. Now for me, I have a relationship with a higher power I choose to call God. It took a while for me to get there, but there is an energy, and whether you call it the force or just life force or love or positivity, or some people call it good, orderly direction. Say God, good, orderly direction. Some kind of, there's an energy of life. There's a life force in you, in everybody, that you want to harness for your good and for the good of other people. So that's the thing you want to tune into on a regular basis. And whether you do it by, prayer or going for a walk in nature or writing in a journal, there's all kinds of ways to access that energy. And that's what you want to build up, because when you go to offer yourself for a job, think about it, because people go, oh, how do you get a job? How do you get cast? Well, if you were casting a movie, if you had a movie that, maybe somebody put $10 million into, so somebody's got 10 million into this movie and you're casting it. Think about who you would want to cast. Would you want to cast the person that was all freaked out and scared and miserable and looked like they couldn't handle anything? No, you want to cast the person that's enthusiastic, that's excited, that's into it, that's done their homework, that's like ready to go. That's who you want to work with. You yourself would rather work with that person than the person who doesn't have enough energy in them to even control their own mind. Now, if you feel like that right now, I'm not trying to come down on you. I'm just saying that's the path to success, tapping into that energy. That's the way. And it works for whatever you want to do, whether you want to be an actor or whatever, but it is the way to have a successful life. And acting is a part of that life. If you love acting, that's being a successful actor that's what you want. So that is how you get there. So when you come to your challenges, run them through that filter. What am I thinking about this? Is this real? Let's just say, oh, I'm not good enough for this job. Really, is that true? Because there's lots of people out there that are horrible people that work all the time. So is it just your acting technique? Well, you can get better at that. You can learn that. There's nothing about you that isn't enough. You can learn whatever you don't know. So one of the things you want to do when you're looking at your, the reason I ask for what are your fears? Where are you confused? Is because that's where you want to focus to get better at, to take that out so you're not worrying about that. So let's just say you're like, well, I don't know how to self-tape audition. All right, well, that's a valid concern. Yes, you should be a little nervous about that if you don't know how to do it. But the nervousness is not the important thing. The nervousness is pointing you toward, this is what I need to focus on and learn and get good at. And once you do that, You won't have that nervousness so much anymore. You'll feel confident about it. So a lot of this is just simply learning what it is you don't know. And before you can do that, you have to identify what it is you don't know. And the way to do that is to try it. And you will quickly see what it is you don't know. You try self-taping and you're like, this sucks. I can't even watch it myself. Okay, that's good. Now we know where to start working. Okay, there's a few questions that some people ask that they're not here for the answer, but I am going to tell you anyway. The question was regarding being prepared to be on set. And that is a really, really good question, because most acting classes don't prepare you for that. There is no preparation. Nobody talks about it. It's like this mysterious thing. You do a scene in class and then you're just supposed to know what happens when you get to set. So if you're feeling foggy in that area, yes, you should definitely, that's another one of those like red flag. This is what you need to learn, because when you get to set, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens that if you don't know what it is and you're not prepared, you can be blindsided and you can end up having a unpleasant experience. Actors can be mean, and some of the biggest stars are some of the meanest, craziest people I've ever met. Now there's some big stars that are really awesome and nice and lovely and generous. But there's, you know what I mean? It takes all kinds. And there's a lot of egos on set. So I actually created a class just for that, because I haven't seen it anywhere. As an actor, I've never, ever taken a class that explained to me, this is what happens when you get to set. This is what you have to know. This is how you have to prepare. And this is what you have to do in order to be invited back. So I've never seen a class like that. So I just created one. So that question for that actor, that is a longer answer. And I actually already made a class for it, because so many times I went to set and went, I wish somebody had told me this. I wish somebody had prepared me for this. I wish somebody told me that this is what you have to do. Nobody in acting class ever said that. And I'm just supposed to figure it out by myself. So I'm a big fan of like, don't try to figure it out by yourself. If you don't know the answer, get help. Your career will advance so much faster if you are prepared, because let's just take the going on set example. You go on set, you don't know what you're doing, you could get fired. It happens all the time to big actors. You could get fired, or they can just write you out. That's happened to me, where it's like, yeah, I get this next script and they're like, yeah, they break up. Yeah, she's a bad girl. They break up, she's gone. And I'm like, what did I do? So now that I've been a few more years in the industry, I know the answers to some of those questions. I know how you've got to play it in order to keep getting written in more. I know how you have to handle those crazy actors who want to steal a scene from you, because they'll try. And you know what? Once you know how to handle them, it's kind of fun, because they don't think you know. They're expecting to be able to walk all over you. So when you know how to handle those egos, it's actually kind of entertaining to watch them try to mess with you. And you're like, yeah, whatever, bring it, let's go. So there's a lot of things to know there. And the point I'm making is that there's nothing wrong with you because you don't know that, because you're right. There's a lot to be prepared for. So that's why I made a class for that. And you can always ask me these questions and hit me up for a prep. What I've learned in my career is that, okay, I'll give you an example. One of my best friend coaches Anne Hathaway in New York. And I was always trying to do stuff all by myself. And she told me one day, she goes, oh no, Anne coaches for everything. She coaches on every audition. She coaches on every callback. When she gets a role, she coaches every single scene for that project before she gets to set. She does not go to set unprepared. And that's how you win an Oscar. And I remember when she told me that, I was like, I've been trying to do this by myself all this time, like winging it and wondering why it's taking so long. Yeah, you can do it the easy way, or you could do it the hard way. So it worked really well for Anne. So then I started doing that too. I started coaching for everything. Especially when I wasn't sure. I didn't try to wing it and just hope it was going to go okay. I just started coaching for everything. And that's when I started, getting nominated for awards and winning awards and making more money, because I was prepared. I was treating myself like a professional, not like just a hobbyist. I want to be a professional. Professional means you're making money. That's what I want out of this career. So that's what I suggest, is treat yourself like a professional, get the answers that you need, because if you could take 3 years to learn something and figure it out by yourself, or you could just ask somebody that's already done it and they'll tell you, and you can just go straight to the finish line. So I'm a big fan of that, getting the answers, and I get coached whenever I need it. So there you go. That is a lot of, I'm trying to answer a lot of questions with one answer, because a lot of them are along the same lines. And you're going to love, I think this was Brianna. Brianna, you're going to love this class because it's everything that you need to know on set. Okay. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, if I'm not covering your question, or if you've had any questions that have arisen during this, during my little talk here, if there's anything specific that you want to know. And while you're thinking that, and write it in the chat. So just write them in the chat. Now, as you're thinking of questions, just keep writing them in the chat. And that way you won't lose your spot, like mentally, like if you're like, oh, wait, there was a thing and I forgot. Just write it down right away. Or Ryan, did you think of something right away that you wanted to say, Ryan? Okay, hit me?
Yes. So, thank you. So my question is, so now that a lot of auditions are going to self-tapes, it's taking away that one-on-one and like the vibe of the room where like where they're feeling your vibe, kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, I'm a kind of person that, like, when I was going for job interviews, or when I was going for jobs, the interview was getting it to me because they got to feel my personality and got to know me. How do you put your personality into a self-tape without going over that line where it's like, what the hell is this guy doing? What, like, because I know a lot of these casting directors, they just want to see straight whatever they ask for, like name, slate, height, whatever it is, and then straight to whatever the role is. So how do you get the chance to, or how do you somehow get your personality into a self-tape?
Good question. Well, that also goes into your acting, right? Your acting. And it's tricky because you don't want to be too big, especially if you go for a smaller role. You're not out there trying to be crazy and big. You don't want to pull focus away from the story. But what you can do is so what they want to see, yes, they want to see your personality. There's Bobby. They want to see your personality in the slate. So I'm going to do two answers to that. So this, first of all, the slate. And this is from a casting director that I know, and it's the best slate advice I've ever heard. When you slate, you know how it suddenly, you feel like you're doing a mugshot. It's like, and it gets really awkward and you don't know what to do with your hands. It's just an awkward feeling because you're like, oh, they're looking at me. So you go in, so your thoughts are going, they're looking at me. Do I look weird? Is this weird? Where do I put? You start thinking about yourself. So the key to solving the slate issue is think about them, and think about them as if they are strangers that are coming to your party where they don't know anybody, and you are inviting them in to your party, and they are the ones feeling awkward and insecure, and you're trying to put them at ease. So as an actor, your action is now to put them at ease, to comfort, to make them feel comfortable and welcome. So you go from being like, hi, I'm Nahani Johnstone and I'm 5'9" to, hey, I'm Nahani Johnstone and I'm 5'9". So the difference of so it's just, you're just thinking, hey, come on in, have a drink. I'll introduce you to all my friends. Don't worry, you're going to have a great time. So that's the kind of vibe you want. And literally you can practice that by doing that. You can practice your slate by saying, so if I was going to practice it, I'm going, I'm Nahani Johnstone, I'm 5'9". Awkward. Okay, let me practice that. Okay, hey, I'm so happy to meet you. Come on in. We're going to have an amazing time tonight. Hey, I'm Nahani Johnstone and I'm 5'9". See the difference in the energy? So you can throw that line in, give yourself a line just to get the vibe. You're looking for that energy. So that's what you want to show them, that energy. That's your personality, right? Like that you're friendly and open and like easy to work with. And then when it comes to your auditions, the biggest thing is strong beginning, strong ending. Don't throw those moments away. Have a very specific beginning and ending. I've heard that they have a 7-second attention span. 7 seconds. If you haven't hit it in 7 seconds, they're moving on. That's terrifying, but also tells you where to focus. Get that opening, make something happen in that first moment. Whatever it is, that's your time to show your personality. Make a choice that's interesting. Okay, now it doesn't have to be something wild and crazy. It just has to be something specific. So maybe you're doing something off the top. What are you thinking? What just happened? Where are you going? What's about to happen? There's all kinds of ways to put those little moments to make something of that entrance. And also on the exit, what's your last thought on the scene? When the scene ends, it's not about just, oh, my last line. Okay, it's over. No, the scene ends. Your last line happens. And then you have a thought or you make a decision or that's what that was, by the way. You just hold it. You hold that thought. And you have a specific thought. So that's a couple of quick tips on how to make those self-tapes pop. Because believe me, I see a lot of self-tapes and casting directors see a lot of self-tapes. And most people blow right past that first and last moment without doing anything. They think it's all in the middle. No. First moment, last moment. Does that help? That's where your personality is going to shine. Okay.
Thank you.
I wrote to agents beginning of December, but I haven't heard back from anyone yet. I'm not sure what approach to take in the new year. I'm thinking I'll write to different agencies beginning of January. Does this make sense? Or should I follow up with the originals? Both. The most important thing to do before you get an agent, before you try to get an agent, is get very clear about what you want from your agent and what kind of person you want, and write it all down. I want an agent who's excited about developing me. I want an agent who's connected to John Papsadera so they can get me into Yellowstone. I want an agent, just joking, but get clear about what you want from your agent. You are hiring them. They work for you. Remember that. And that doesn't mean you're going to go in with an attitude. It just means that you want to set that up for yourself mentally, that this is what you want. Okay. And when we've gone over, Stephanie did my Proactor confidence training. So stay with all of those, listen to that again, listen to that video again. And just remember, like, how do you approach an agent? You've got to be empowered. Now, December is a weird time to reach out to an agent. So a lot of people are already mentally on holiday in December. That doesn't mean that it wouldn't work. It just means that if they didn't get back to you, their head wasn't in the game. So you keep trying and you keep self-submitting, because what's really going to get you that agent is your energy, right? You keep doing the mindset work. So this is how it worked for me the last time I got an agent, because I came down to Atlanta and I don't know anybody, like nobody. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Now I have to get an agent and I don't even know anybody here. And then I thought, oh, wait, I should actually just do what I tell my actors to do in my class, and you follow my own advice. So I did. I just mentally thought, okay, I pictured my agent. This is what I want. This is the kind of person I want. This is how this is the kind of jobs I want. I just got it in my head. Okay, it's going to happen. And I kind of let that thought float out to the universe. And then I started taking actions. So I wrote a bunch of cold call emails. Nobody responded. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep going, but keeping that thought of like what kind of agent I wanted, holding the vision of, I know this is going to be this agent. I want to work in this place. I want to work in this, and it came through out of the blue. A friend of mine just happened to reach out to me on Instagram when he saw that I was down here, and it's like, hey, do you need an agent? So I ended up signing with his agent. And I think one of those agents that I wrote emails to got back to me like a month later. It took them like 2 months to get back to me, or like 6 weeks, because my email was buried. So when you're sending emails to agents, remember they get hundreds of emails a day. So don't take it personally. Don't take anything in this business personally, ever, never. Nothing is personal. It's business. Okay. I know it's us and it's our heart and it's our emotion. It's our bodies. It's our person that's involved, but you have to see yourself as a business, and you are also your manager, right? You're your product and your manager. And when it comes to, protect the product, but don't take anything personally. If someone doesn't get back to you, it's either follow up or next. And funny thing is, like I said, that agent got back to me 6 weeks later and I was like, oh, too late. Okay. Hi, Bobby. Good to see you, hear you, know you're here. So does anybody else have any questions? I'm going to tell you while you're thinking and write them down, because we're going to be wrapping up soon. And I hope this helped you, because I want to give you gold. I want you guys to work. I want you guys to have your dreams. And I know you can, because if I could do it, anybody could do it. Believe me, I was the most scared, pathetic, useless, drunken, talentless loser when I started this industry. I couldn't even show up for a meeting. I had to really I was like Home Improvement. You know what I mean? It was one of those like makeover shows. Like I was a mess. And if I can do this, anybody can do this. And I just want to give you the shortcuts. So what I'm doing also, if you guys, if you're like, okay, so now what do I do? If you want to work with me, I'm going to tell you while you're thinking of your final questions, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I have, put it in the chat. I created some online courses. Oops. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Proctor. No, it's not Proctor. Proactor.passion.io. Why does it keep doing that? Is it spell checking me? You spell checking me? Zoom? There we go. So what I created is a series of online courses, and I'm still offering them live. So if you take a class with me, you get a whole bunch of online videos that you keep forever. Okay, you have access to those. You can download them, you keep them. And I go over every single thing in the business, from the mindset work to getting an agent, to how to run your business, to audition prep, self-tape, like pretty much everything you need to know. That's my Proactor Confidence. And the second class is the advanced. That is the onset stuff. So you need to know how to do the basics, and then you take the onset class. And then both of those classes are a series of videos that you keep. And we also do a live class, and those will be starting mid-January, I think. And also on my website, you can see the dates on my website, which are here. And the other thing I'm doing, which is new, oh goodness, well, it put a space in between my name, but you get the point. The other thing I'm doing, which is new, is I wanted to do a members lounge, which is, oh, it's spell checking me. Don't spell check me. I hate it when Zoom doubts me. Don't doubt me. All right. So the next thing I'm doing is like a members lounge, where I have something like this twice a month. Once we do it on the business. So getting an agent, any of those things that are going on in your business, like maybe like, I'm not sure about my headshot, like any questions you have about that. And the second class we do is going to be on self-tapes. So you can do a self-tape and you can submit it. I will send you sides if you need them, or you can pick your own, and you submit your self-tape and I'll review it to see, to make sure you're on track. So that's going to be like a membership. So when you go, if you check that site, proactor.passion, you'll see both classes, and then you'll see the membership. And the membership it's $83 a month. And you get, that's my email too. And you get 2 classes a month. It's a great thing to do if you're like, you don't want to commit to a class, but you want to stay in touch, or if you've done my class before and maybe you don't want to do a full-time class, you just want to stay in touch and you want to stay tuned up. If you are not sure about your self-taping, highly recommend you take one of my classes so that you can get really good at that, because that is your number one tool. Headshots, yes, and resumes, yes, all of that's great. But your number one tool is your self-tape ability. I cannot stress that enough. It is so important. And trust me, I spend a fortune on myself when it comes to coaching and training, because I train with people in LA that are like working actors, always work with working actors now, because I want to know what they're doing that's getting them work. So my focus is 100% on getting you work. I don't want to, I mean, hobby classes are nice. That's not what I do. I don't do hobby classes. I do classes to try to get you work, because that's what I want for myself. So so that's what I've got going on right now. The members lounge is new, and I think it's going to be really fun, especially for people who may not have the time for a class. Okay, any more questions?
Yes, it's me, Nani.
Yeah, hey Bobby,
Hi.
how's it going?
Jose Cardoso.
Oh, it's Jose. Oh, I saw Bobby. Bobby's not muted. Bobby, I'm going to mute you. Okay, Jose,
Yes,
sorry. Oh, I see your hand up
yes,
there. Okay.
yeah. Actually, I'm into acting classes. I'm
Mhm.
at Art Gate. Actually, everything you say is true. Everything you say is so true. And then I've been meeting people at school, and then some of them they want me to do a short film with them. They invite
Great.
me.
Mhm.
And then I've been meeting a lot of celebrities, singers. When you say about musician, that's true. Music and dancing, that is very, very important. And I've been attracting these people like rappers, people that all studio, right? Music studio. I've been meeting photographer. Actually, I've got my resume. I've done by myself. Uh, Actually, my business coach, she's been helping me also a lot
That's
to
great.
get good resume, letter, cover letter. And also, actually, I've got my headshot. Actually, I've done this because I got a 3 type of headshots. I do a lot of research too. Also, do a lot of research. I do a lot
Yep.
of research, and then yeah, I've learned a lot. Everything you said so true, and then I'm still doing research, meeting people, meeting actors,
Yep.
to learn from them too. To learn from
Yep.
them, that's very important. And
Yes, it
then
is. You don't want to be alone.
the way my business coach sees me, she says, Jose, you have everything: good
Mhm.
character, good
Yeah.
energy. And then a lot of people, even I've doing short film with somebody. She's an actress, and she says, "Jose, you are so amazing. We
It sounds
actually
like
we
you've
became
got that good
connected."
energy going.
I'm sorry.
It sounds like you've got that good energy flowing. You're very
Yes, I
positive
do.
and
Yes, I do.
happy, and that attracts people. So it attracts.
Yes. Yes.
So what you emanate, what you put out, you attract back. So when you're looking at your life and what's happening in your life, it's really good to go, okay, am I getting what I want or what I intend? I like the word intend, because it's like,
Yes.
to intend, like you mean to get something. And if you're not getting
Yeah.
that, you want to look at and go, okay, why am I attracting this thing that I don't want? So it's like, it's just for you to adjust your behavior. So for you, you're already attracting all this positive stuff, which is great. That means you've got a lot of positive energy and people want to be around you. So now it's just like digging deep into your acting and your technique, and like being able to self-tape and harness that good energy so that you can put it out there in the world to get hired.
Yes. Right now, my business coach, my lecturer, right, and I'm working also with film director as well. They say, Jose, this year will be a time for digging deeper. We want to take you to another level.
Mm-hmm.
They are very professional. Okay. I'm not just saying because, but I like to be honest with me as well. They are very good. They put a lot of pressure on you because they know you can do better.
Is this
you
your
can
class?
do better. Sorry?
This is your class?
Yes. Sometimes you organize party, like for people to get together, gathering together. And then a lot of actors come, people from other countries, they come as well. And then she does a lot of yoga as well. Like you say, Reiki, Reiki, she does kind of things. Yeah. So I've learned a lot from them. And a lot of these guys, they want to feature with me. They want to do a short film with me. I met a guy, came from Montreal, and then he says, "Hey, I'm coming to do film with you." And then like within 2 weeks, I'm going to do a short film.
That's great. And that brings me to something else I want to talk to you guys about, is that if you're not working for whatever reason, you can create your own work. So I learned something recently, which is, I don't know why I just caught on to this. A friend of mine, a couple of people I know have YouTube shows. They make about $15,000 a month on their YouTube shows. That's amazing to me. I think of all of the energy I've put into auditioning for other people's shows. I've had a lot of my students have made their own work, have made shorts. Chris, you did a series of amazing shorts. Chris Perry, who's in the meeting, he did an incredible short. And sometimes, yes, you did. And that is beautiful. And sometimes you can do that and feel like, well, then what? So what happens? What happened for that? What did I get out of that? Well, you got to have the experience, and you got to have the experience of knowing that you can do that you can create your own work. And there's ways to monetize now that have never existed before. There has never been a better time to create your own work. It's never been easier. It's never been so easily monetized. There are so many platforms. There's so many ways to do it. So if you have an idea for something, don't wait for the industry to to hire you and give you a reason to live. It's like we have to create our own. So that's actually, it builds confidence in your work. It builds confidence in your work. And also it's like, once you do something, it's like, keep going, don't stop. So if you created something like Chris has, make a short film, don't stop there. Keep going, because you want to get it to the place where you can monetize your work. So for example, I met these people that have a YouTube show that they're making 15 grand a month on, about horses. It's a horse rescue thing. If you follow me on Facebook, I've posted it. And so I thought, well, why don't we do a spinoff? I got a couple of their horses. I got 4 of their horses. And we're now working on a spinoff. And when you do that, you also want to make friends with, you've got to network with other actors, because you don't want to have to do all of it yourself if you can help it.
Yes.
You want to get help with that. So for me, I have somebody who's editing, and I have somebody who's making a logo, just like starting a business. Okay. As an actor, you are your own business. You're not just waiting for someone to give you permission to do it. Okay. You are doing it. You're in it now. You're in it. You're doing it. So you want to invest your time and energy positively in places that will bring you a return, which means, again, make sure you're controlling your mind, focus your mind, learn the skills that you need to compete, to compete in a professional level. But as you're learning them, remember, that's the work. The work is learning how to get good at it. And then as you're doing that, you can create your own work. You can write your own scenes and monologues and shoot them. And like anybody can do it now. You got a phone, you've got one of these, you can have your own, have your own show. So I strongly encourage, especially in times of world weirdness, when you're like, well, the business isn't what it used to be. I know it's weird, but there's a lot of people still working. There's still people working. There's still people doing stuff. And don't you stop. You don't worry about, how is this going to serve me? How am I going to get anything out of this? Don't worry about that. Like if you want to do a YouTube show and monetize it, you can. It's not that hard. I have another friend, all she does is cry on YouTube and she's making $11,000 a month. I don't get it, but apparently there's a market for that. So you can take all your actor woes and cry about how much it sucks to be an actor. Who knows? Maybe other actors will want to watch it. But there's ways to monetize. So don't limit yourself to the way the business has been, because the business is always changing. And there are big changes happening right now in our industry. And I think it's a pro creator time. Okay. As an actor, you want to also think of yourself as a creator. And if you do that, there's no better time for you. No better time. It's amazing what's going on.
Nani, do you know what I realized? Yeah, like you say, we are co-creator.
Mm-hmm.
I have my demo reel as well. I've done it at film school where I'm doing the course. Because they called me, hey, Jose, we want you to do this. They film, and then they say something about yourself, about your past. And then I was saying, and they like it was so cool, they love it. And then she said, you can use this as your demo reel to your agent. That will be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The audience, they want to see good things. And then they're gonna start feeling. They want to meet you. They want to be around you.
People want authenticity.
Like right now,
They want authenticity. They want something real.
Yeah. Right now, I just built up my own studio photo in my house. I just curated, came out of my mind. I'm gonna set up my own studio home.
There you go. You're tapping in.
And then, and I have a friend of mine. He is into modeling, film modeling.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me, hey, we can work together if you want to. Try to open a model agency, and then we can
You don't
help
even
you
need to
out.
do that now. Instagram is taking over the modeling industry, and everything is changing, guys. Everything is changing. It's a time for you to take charge of your own careers and create your own stuff. And that's as well as every actor that's successful has multiple streams of income, not just one. If you look at any actor that's a big star, they've already started a production company, or they've got a restaurant, or they've got some business. So as an actor, you are your own business, and you want to think about multiple streams, not just waiting for your agent to call. That's kind of like that one is one of those ones where you have no control over that. So you don't have to think about that. It's like you get an agent, you have to keep generating your own work until you can submit yourself. And we should all be doing that. If you can submit yourself. And if for some reason you can't, or you don't want to, create your own work. Nobody can stop you from doing that. Nobody.
Yeah. Also right now, I'm build up my clothing line.
Well, there you go. Have another business. Now, listen, I'm going to have to jump off this soon because I do have a coaching to do. An actor, because people are still auditioning, even though it's a holiday. So I'm going to have to jump off to do coaching. Is there anything anyone wants to ask me before we do? Any
I'd like
questions?
to be a member. I'd like to join the group. I'd like to become a member. $80, right? $85, right?
Yeah, I will send you that link. In fact, what I'm going to do after we close out, I'm going to upload this so that other people can see it. And I will send you all another email with all of the links that you need to join. They're in the chat as well. Proactor.passion.io is where all of these courses sit. And now if you want to do one of the bigger classes, they do start January 17th and 18th. And you would just send me an email. Here's the other thing. If you want to do a class, but you don't want to pay all at once and you want to do a payment plan, that's totally fine. I get it. It's New Year's and everyone just went through Christmas. So if you need that, or if you want that, just email me and we can set that up. And if you want to join the members lounge, that would be on the proactor.passion.io. You just sign up there. And our first class is going to be this Monday. And what we're going to go over is goals. That's going to be, and now what I did, I'll show you. I'll show you what I did here. I'm really having a good time creating these, I got to say, because I think, what do I need? What do I need? And then I go and create it. What do I need as an actor? Then I go and create it. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you get into this course. I'm like, what do I wish somebody had told me? And then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to make a course on that. So this is going to be free. I have not done that yet. That's my project for this week. Pro actor confidence. Some of you have taken that. That is mindset, tools, talent. So each one of these drops down and you'll see these are all videos. And then you have your tools. Your tools are all kinds of things about headshots, resumes, branding, agents, all of that stuff that you need for business. And then the talent, my personal favorite. This is the most important thing as an actor that you need is the audition prep. Audition prep. I wish I'd had that 40 years ago. I would have saved myself. I probably would be rich by now if I'd had that 40 years ago, but I got it now. So the audition prep, audition to all of these things, these are like, there's no fluff in this course. Okay. These are all directions to give yourself, allow vulnerability, physical, all directions to make your work better. I've tried to encapsulate them and condense them. So I'm not wasting your time, right? I don't like, nobody has time. So here we go. I give you one, opposites, brilliant. You will always use that and it's 4 minutes. So that is the pro actor confidence. I'm giving you a whole tour. I didn't think I was going to do that, but I'm kind of proud of it. The advanced on set confidence, same thing. Mindset, tools, and talent, things that you need on set. And then here we have our Proactors members lounge. And you go here for the weekly live. Okay. So I will have a link in here every week, Monday, 11 a.m. kickstart the week. And I will do the Q&As here and the whatever. And then every other week, we're going to do self-tapes. So that will always be updated and posted in here. And what I have right now in here, we're going to have pro tips. Okay. I just have one. I'm going to keep adding them every month. I'm going to be adding pro tips. You know how I get these pro tips? When I coach actors and I see repeated mistakes and I see someone doing something like, oh, this is the thing that everybody does. Then I make a video about it. Cause I'm like, okay, guys, everybody's doing this thing. And this is how we have to fix this. Because, you know, there's no bad actors. There's just corrections, right? Anything that's a problem, there's a solution and an answer and a correction for it. So I'm going to put some pro tips in here. Wisdom. These are the people I listen to. Okay. Joe Dispenza, you guys know, he's like my favorite for controlling your mind. Okay. So I'll always put my weekly wisdom in there. My favorite books. So I have a source where I can get free books. And I'm going to add the books that I love the most, the free ones that I can give you so that you can just download them for free. This particular book changed my life. As an actor, it was the best book I ever read. It was so good. It got me at a time when I was broke. I was paying my rent with my overdraft. I wasn't working. I was terrified, guys. I was terrified. I had no other plan. I had no backup plan. And then I found this book. And by the end of the year, I booked a TV series and I did a movie with one of my favorite actors and I made a ton of money. And I swear to God, it's from reading this book. So I gave you this book. I'm also doing podcasts. So these are going to be interviews with actors, not just celebrity actors, but real actors. You know, when celebrities, when they do these interviews, they never talk about anything real. It's all just like blah, blah, bullshit. So this is the real talk where we talk to actors about how are you doing what you're doing. And then this is going to be where your coaching comes in. So you can see you're getting a lot for your monthly drop is a lot of stuff. This is the mindset coaching from one of my courses. And when you do this, it's 20 minutes. You take a notebook, you write down your goals, and that's what we're going to be going over on Monday morning, because I would love to do that with you now, but I'm out of time. So this is all in the Proactors members lounge. And every month there's going to be more stuff, new stuff. And I will keep you moving through it and letting you know how to use it as we go. So there you go. I'm super excited to make this for you guys because I just always thinking like, how can I keep you guys connected? I know one of the things that some of my students are saying is like, when the class is over, they feel like the loss of connection, like there's no connection. They feel like they're all by themselves. So the members lounge is my way of saying like, hey, even if you're not in class right now, you can do this and you can stay in touch and keep all this stuff fresh in your mind, because it's really easy to forget it if you don't repeat it, right? If you're not always repeating it and being reminded. I know for me, I've had to go over the same stuff over and over and over and over again. So that's one of the good things about having the videos, is that you can go over as many times as you want. And we will do the goal setting on Monday. And oh, by the way, if you join, you get the first week for free automatically. So it's like any subscription. You put your card in, you join, you get the first week free. If you're like, nah, I don't want to do this, you could just cancel it and not have to pay. So there you go.
After completion, the course do issue a certificate?
Well, I could give you a certificate, but it doesn't really mean anything, honestly. Nobody is ever going to ask you for your piece of paper from an acting class. I could make up I could go, here's just, yeah, here you go. I mean, that's, if it makes you happy, I'm happy to do that. But
I'd like to have it.
What you get from working with me is you get the professional ability. That's what I give you, which is better than any certificate you could ever get. I won't let you go until I know that you can do the thing that you need to do to get work. Well, I'll let you go when you want to go, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll keep working with you until I know you can do it. And you guys can all do it. You guys can all do it. And I know I've worked with the ones I've worked with that are on this call. I am just so proud of the progress that you make and the commitment that you've made to yourselves. You know, this is a really hard business. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, because, you know, it's not easy. The rewards are huge, but it takes some work and it takes some focus and some effort. And I'm here to help you along the way and to tell you that you can do it. You can absolutely do it. You might as well, you know, you got to focus on something all day. You might as well focus on something that you love. So I'm really glad you guys came today, and congratulations for actually taking a step on a day when a lot of people are just sleeping it off, to actually show up for yourselves. And, you know, I hope that you got something from this that you can use for the rest of the year, that you can just create a practice for yourself, a mindset practice. Take charge of your mind. Don't let the media spin you around. Okay. Don't let them take over your mind. You take charge of your mind. You decide what you're going to focus on, what you're going to think about, and tap into that source of energy, that love that's within you. That is going to take you where you want to go. So trust that and let the outside world do what it does. I love you guys. Thanks for being here with me. And I hope to see you in the members lounge. And you've got my email. You've got my, my website. You get in touch with me anytime you want. Okay. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys on Monday morning.
Sure.
Yay. Here, I'm going to show the gallery. Gallery. Yay, gallery.